Series, welcome to the highlights of the first day of Trent Bridge. A coolish sort of day with perhaps a threat of bad light stoppages later on, but no real prospect of rain as the two skippers went out to exchange teams and to toss. The sides nominated by the selectors, the England side left out Agnew and brought in Sidebottom for his first test cap. The Australians went in with exactly the same side as one at toss for the first time in the series, a welcome change for him. And we pick up play now in the fourth over. 3 runs on the board, McDermott is the bowler, and Tim Robinson on his home ground is the man taking strike.
Good shot. A beautiful pair of his pads. Off his pads and square of the wicket on the offside. It's great strengths. Chase for Graham Wood. Two more to Robinson. Goes on now to 8. There's 1 extra. 9 on the board so far. Gooch still waiting for his first run. Better time shot. No chance of Wood cutting that off. He had 6 from 2 deliveries, and then the one he clipped off the pads as well. This is an expensive over as far as Craig McDermott's concerned. Certainly no swing there at all. Here's McDermott again. Gooch is taking strike. It's off the mark now. McDermott's natural delivery slants him away towards the batsman's pads most of the time. Robinson taking strike, and Lawson's the bowler. Super shot once again. Well, that's definitely not the place to bowl to Tim Robinson, nor, for that matter, to any class batsman. It's precisely the treatment required there. An artist at work alongside the photographers. Photographers organising their images. The artist putting on canvas this very attractive old ground. That's a real cracker of a shot. In deference to all those strokes and the runs that are fairly ripping along, board has taken away a slip, put him out at point. So it's 2 slips in the gully and a square point plus extra cover. Good shot. It's timed well enough to make things very difficult for the man coming around. It's just a defensive little push from Robinson, square of the wicket.
This one kept Greg Ritchie interested all the way, and the despairing foot at the end just helping it over the rope.
Lawson 5 overs for 18. McDermott's taken a hammering, 4 for 28. So much so that he's being removed from the attack, as indeed I am. A few words from Bob Willis, and then it'll be Jim Laker.
So, with only 9 overs gone, Alan Border making his first bowling change, and into the attack comes Simon O'Donnell.
Thank you, Bob. I'm sorry, Richie, about all that hammer. There we are, 48 on the board. And now an error in the field. It's tickled away down to long leg by Tim Robinson to bring up the 50. Excellent start then for England, and a particularly good start for Tim Robinson here, playing Test match on his home ground for the first time. 34 he's made out of the 50 on the board, and that's come off only 72 balls.
First one down. That's the first ball that's done anything. Border took the catch. It was well bowled by Lawson, but not a ball earlier has deviated. That one left him in the air and also seemed to go a bit off the seam. Robinson, after playing so brilliantly this morning, is out for 38. Lawson has taken the first wicket. We're into the 15th over as David Gower comes in. Well, all of a sudden, it started to do something.
I don't know what's happening. The tide must have come in, Richie, or something. But that really is a beautiful delivery. Look at that. Pitched middle, went like a leg break. Right across David Gower. And lucky not to get a touch.
Well, this is quite astonishing. We've gone through the morning with the ball not swinging and not moving off the seam and not bouncing awkwardly. Suddenly it's all changed. There's O'Donnell bowling to Gower. Lovely strokes of that quality down at Lord's. It was absolutely magnificent.
And how good it is to see David Gower moving that front foot, getting right to the ball. Majestic stroke.
Geoff Lawson to Gower. Good shot again. There's two glorious cover drives from David Gower this morning. Very majestic. Almost casually majestic. And that's as good a start as I've seen from David Gower for a long time. 23 not out. He played lovely innings at Lord's, but today he was really stroking the ball well right from the moment he came in. Robinson, I thought, played a delightful knock for his 38. He got a very good delivery from Lawson. And Gooch, 17, is being outdistanced there by Gower, who's already on 23, with another 7 runs having been added up to lunch, 85 for 1. Only 21 overs bowled for those runs because 6 had been lost due to bad light. Well, Graham Gooch might have been slow before the interval, but he was showing signs, just as lunch came along, of a man about to take charge. Here he is now in the 2nd over after the interval with 1 run added, facing Craig McDermott.
It's a useful delivery, a little bit of late movement. Guided away, there's no 3rd man down there. And Graham Gooch will pick up 4 as a result. It's O'Donnell to resume with Gower to face. It's the overpitched one again, and it's driven very firmly for 4 by David Gower. It really does make it look all so easy when he's in form. Sir Donald to Gooch. And that's through the gap. Beautiful straight drive from Graham Gooch. And three figures rattles up on the board, and it's a fine start by England. 100 for 1.
Well, the shout is there for the appeal from the man at mid-on.
Quite an interesting series of events here. Gooch hitting the ball back very firmly, and Gower getting his bat back just in time.
Here's McDermott again. Gooch is taking strike. Oh. Well, lucky there. I think he probably stopped that just in front of his throat.
Ball slipping out of McDermott's hands and straight for the end of Graham Gooch's nose, and he's very relieved to get that huge willow in the way just in time.
Another full toss, but this time in slightly less dangerous territory. Which goes into the 40s. Here's Simon O'Donnell, and he's bowling to Gooch. Jeff Lawson, no chance of him cutting that off. Graham Gooch goes past his previous best score against Australia in this country. Previous best was 44 at Lord's, 1981. Very sensible bowling either. And Graham Gooch has now reached a half century. 50 in 103 balls, 9 boundaries. It's his 4th 50 against Australia and his 16th Test 50 in all. Well, Border's options are limited with only the 4 bowlers, but he does have Bob Holland, and it's Holland being introduced to the attack now. No deep mid-wicket. A lot of full tosses bowled today. The 150 comes up for England now. There's a good shot. Beautiful stroke. Couldn't have been straighter. The successive boundaries from Bob Holland. 100 partnership up, and England looking good.
Holland again to Gower. It's a lovely shot for Gower's 50. Waited for it, placed it nicely away. So 3 runs to David Gower, take him on to 52. The bat's in the air, and another Test match 50 for David Gower. 84 balls, 5 fours. That's the 26th time he's got past the half century in that doesn't include his hundreds. Still to be Lawson from the Radcliffe Road end. And he's gone. What a good catch that was. And Graham Gooch out for 71 now for 2. That went quick and low to Kepler Wessel's left hand. And Lawson now has picked up both the wickets.
Yes, that took off quite sharply, actually. And beautifully picked up there by Wessels. Very fine innings by Graham Gooch. I think he would agree that he hasn't really timed the ball. He played with his usual fluency, but he's battled on, and that's a sign of a good player. Getting runs when you're not really in very good nick. And he's been replaced by Mike Gatting, Middlesex captain. And here you can see that ball got up quite high and very nicely picked up in the gully there.
Extra close catches for the new batsman. 3 slips and a gully in for Mike Gatting. I think there's a few heart tremors in the England dressing room there too. Not one of the greatest shots you're ever going to see off the first ball in a test match.
This is quite astonishing. First ball. 1.5 foot outside the off stump, bouncing. Well, it might have been a good one to let go.
Gower again to face Holland. Toss time wide, full toss, and David Garber, sorry he didn't put that one away. Nice little gift wide outside the off stump. And another one to follow. That's gone where the first one should have gone, and it's 4 runs.
6 more runs added to take the total up to 182 for 2, and that's come at a very good rate. 51 overs have been bowled when tea was taken. Gower 63 not out. Gooch, I thought, played an excellent innings, and I reckon it'll be one that satisfied the England selectors as well, because they wanted a little more patience and the same steely determination that Gooch always shows. That's exactly what he gave today. Gatting 1 not out, and Gower in tremendous form up to the interval. Here's the second over now. After the tea break, 3 runs have been added, and McDermott is the bowler coming in to bowl to Mike Gatting.
There's no third man. Anything that gets through the field today is going to be 4. This outfield is very quick. Ground is not over large. It just races away across the outfield. An easy 2 there for Mike Gatting. It's very well run. Lawson was the man having to come round from Deep Pine Lake. At 3 takes Gatting on to 11. Gower 67, 196 for 2. Lawson. He's got a lot of work to do today, Geoff Lawson, and he's done it very well. He's a very big-hearted performer. Holland to Gower. And good run between the wickets once again. The 200 comes up for England. Midway through this final session, 201 for 2 after winning the toss here at Trent Bridge. It's to be McDermott now. Spin ball to Gatting. A pretty good hooker by Gatting. McDermott to Gower. It's an elegant stroke. All the time in the world. Lovely shot. Easy for there, and they just race away over the boundary.
So Holland comes off, 14 overs for 47, replaced by Simon O'Donnell. Just the 2 slips now, a cover, extra cover and a mid-off. And hooked away for 4 runs by Mike Guttin.
Even the watchful Gatting can't resist this loosener and murders it through the leg side.
And one more to follow. No margin of error on this pitch, much too slow to bowl that sort of length. The border walks out of the slips, goes into the leg side. Identical ball, identical shot, and the same result.
Mike Gatting showing that he's not worried about this pitch at all, and in fact both helmets being removed by the batsman. It's a fair indication of the placidity of this pitch.
There's Geoffrey Lawson loosened up nicely at wide mid-on. And he's been their spearhead today. O'Donnell then to Gower. Perfect piece of time in there by Gower. It a little more than a push. And finished up just about 10 yards short of the ropes. Applause for that single because it brings up the 250. So that Lawson again is going to be the recipient of more liquid refreshment. And obviously there's a little concern out there about Geoff Lawson. 2 or 3 times they've been out with drinks and odd little pill, and out there with only 4 bowlers there would be in really big trouble if he was unable to continue. Down the wicket, over the top, great shot, perfectly saved, and Gower goes on to 98.
fine stroke from David Gower, using his feet, getting right to the pitch of the ball, and chipping that high over mid-on.
O'Donnell then going to come round the wicket now to Gower. That's it. Nice little nudge off the legs. He'll come back for 2 and 101 then for David Gower. Fine effort, the bats up high, 261 for 2, and Gower not out, 101. Century made off 167 balls, 9 fours in it. It's his 10th Test 100, and his 3rd, in fact, against Australia.
O'Donnell to Gatting. Lovely stroke. 50 for Gatting. It was a beautiful shot. Nicely over it. Perfect placement and superb timing to give him his half-century. And a fine half-century for Mike Gatting, 53 not out, with 7 more runs added, up to 5-6, which was the point where the umpires came off because of bad light. They lost 3 overs and 2 balls in that little session, but I should think David Gower was absolutely delighted at the close of play to have that score on the board. 279 for 2, Gower himself 107. It was just the sort of performance England needed after they'd won the toss on this very good pitch, and that is reflected in the bowling figures for the Australians. Lawson was outstanding. He was the best bowler, apart from having taken the 2 wickets, 24.4 overs, 7 maidens, 2 for 58. McDermott none for 84, O'Donnell none for 72, and Holland none for 57. And as far as I'm concerned, they're paying a penalty there for having gone in on a perfect batting strip with only 4 bowlers been added. And Border has given the ball to Simon O'Donnell. He's bowling to David Gower.
That's shorter one again. One that he kept slipping in yesterday, and one which inevitably was put away for 4 runs. It's happened again this morning. And David Gower has taken his first boundary of the day's play. That's a new ball which has gone into David Constant's hands. It seems the umpires are switching that new ball from end to end, waiting to see which end it's going to be taken. But as yet, it's still the old ball that these 2 pacemen are operating with. And we're about to start the 88th over.
Yes, I can't really understand why they aren't opting to take the new cherry. And just having said that, it slips into McDermott's hand, so bowlers are happy that they're loosened up now and going to get down to the serious business. Whether or not they thought the old ball was swinging a little bit more, O'Donnell got a couple to move in the air during his short spell from this pavilion end, but now the 3rd slip comes in and McDermott's on his way.
They seem to organise that okay.
Yes, I think Simon O'Donnell might have stuck a spike in Graham Wood's shoe here.
And David Constant is having a long look at McDermott's follow-through there, and I'm not surprised. Part of that stuff has just been scuffed up and thrown from further away, but he was in very, very close there in follow-through. And I don't know that too many of the Australian batsmen will be over-pleased with it either. They're facing a total that means they've got to struggle to save the follow-on. Not quite where David Gower meant that. He was aiming it pretty much straight down the ground. A little bit of swing and movement off the seam this morning for both McDermott and Lawson. The 300 comes up for England. They haven't lost a wicket this morning. And the changes that Graham Wood has been pulled in front of the square leg umpire. And Geoff Lawson tested Mike Gatting with a bouncer yesterday. This is a very, very slow, good batting pitch. There it is, and there it goes.
Yes, I think Geoff Lawson not very pleased with the way things are going at the moment.
Stroke. So suddenly Gatting has produced a pull shot and Gower a classic stroke through cover point.
Oh, it's a beautiful stroke. Stroke of a man in really cracking form.
Brilliant shot. All the time in the world. Anything a little bit short now with a little bit of width, and David Gower's really chasing after it. Superb stroke. There's no one better to watch than David Gower when he's in this frame of mind.
It's another great shot on the onside this time. He rocked into position so quickly, powered it away, and David Gower moves on to 146. Still to be Craig McDermott. It's overpitched and driven with all the ease and grace that one has come to expect. 4 more. 150 for David Gower. Off comes the cap. He's pushed his boundary collection on to 15 now. And he's received just 258 balls for that 150. So Bob Holland immediately going to come round the wicket to David Gower, looking once again for a bit of rough he might find outside off stump. Well, would you believe it? It really has not been Mike Gatting's season, has it? Ball ricocheting off the bowler, Mike Gatting just slightly out of his ground, and he's got to go run out for 74, and the third English wicket goes down at 358.
Really bad luck that for Mike Gatting. He wasn't backing up very far, but David Gower hit this so hard as he rocks back and he really crashes it again. And Bob Holland just gets a touch. And that's out. Terribly bad luck. Because I'm quite sure he was setting himself up for 100 there.
A lot of bat total for a number 5 batsman to come into. 358 for 3. It's a nice firm on drive. So Lamb away in confident style. 4 runs. England have scored at 57 runs per 100 balls, and the over rate is just a shade over 14. And this is Simon O'Donnell. We're going to see him come in now from the Radcliffe Road end. Oh, well bowled. Yes, beauty. Gower goes, he gets the first one really this morning, which has lifted, taken off and moved away. Outside edge, and he goes for 166. So immense relief to Australia to see the back of the England captain, because this has been a superb innings from him. 166 out of 365 for 4. He's dominated this English batting today, and this really has been an absolute joy to watch. 282 balls, 17 fours. Caught by Phillips, off O'Donnell. And Trent Bridge on his feet, applauding a very gracious performance indeed.
Yes, it really was a brilliant innings by David Gower. And funnily enough, the one that got him out wasn't all that different from the first two that Jeff Lawson bowled at him. And there it is, it bounces, leaves him off the wicket. He does well, in fact, to touch it. And well caught by Wayne Phillips.
2 slips now for Ian Botham, a gully. Nobody really square up cover. Cover's come round almost to extra on the mid-off. And just time to complete this over. 4 balls left, O'Donnell to bowl. No doubt at all about that. On lunch or not, short, 4 runs. Oh, whenever he goes in, it's one place you can never afford to bowl to Botham. Short outside the off stump, he kills those.
He certainly does kill them, and that partnership coming up after lunch between Lamb and Botham is of the utmost importance to both teams. England could get away from Australia there, as indeed they did this morning with Gower and Gatting. Gower, 166, a tremendous effort from him, and Lawson still battling away there, the best of the Australian bowlers. Craig McDermott has had that official warning from umpire David Constant for running too close to the line at the leg stump. Here's the first ball after lunch now. Bob Holland, the Australian leg spinner, is coming in, and he's bowling to Alan Lamb. And there's a good start for Alan Lamb. He picked up the 4 runs before lunch with a stroke almost identical to that, except it was from a half volley, that one from a loosening full toss. And once again, now I can't really see the point of having a man there at mid-wicket. For Bob Holland, you might just well have him back on the boundary. Simon O'Donnell is the bowler now from the Radcliffe Road end. You don't get time for any looseness with this fellow.
Yes, there won't be too many people lingering over their lunch interval with IT Botham at the crease. And with the prospect of more shots like that, you can't blame them hurrying back to their seats after the break.
Now Bob Holland is going to bowl to Ian Botham. Beautifully timed late cut. You just can't bowl anything short on this pitch. You have to be bringing the batsman forward all the time and take your chance. It's well played. Beautifully chipped away through mid-wicket. A most controlled shot. Holland, in the short little period after lunch, has gone to 22 overs, 2 maidens, none for 82. 20 runs taken from 3 overs, so that's the finish for him. And it's now Lawson and McDermott.
shot. It was shortish, but it wasn't a bouncer. He was onto it very, very quickly.
A lot of problems for Alan Border. He had a stroke of good fortune with the run out of Mike Gatting, backing up, and a fine delivery from O'Donnell, getting rid of the England captain. But he thought those successes long overdue.
Lawson from the Radcliffe Road end. Not very impressive. The lean down with one hand is not the sort of thing you want to see when you're in such trouble out there.
And Jeff Lawson will be really annoyed about that. He's bowling his guts out for his team, and a really sloppy piece of fielding from Bob Holland.
Oh yes, that's bad luck. That's just about run along the ground. And the most disquieting thing for the Australians is, happy as they might be to get Lamb out, that the pitch looks as though it is going to allow some variable bounce. Paul Downton is the new batsman. And Botham has gone as well. Well, it's suddenly all happening out there. Not too sure that the skipper will be over pleased about that. Botham had a job to do out there where he could have put England into an invincible position and put enormous pressure on the Australians, and suddenly Australia have got 2 wickets, 1 Lamb LBW. I think Botham knows that O'Donnell is going to hang on to that. Only Sidebottom comes out to play his first Test match innings. He's made 193 runs so far this summer, an average of over 30.
Ian Botham looking to play that on the leg side, getting a leading edge, and O'Donnell taking the catch very easily indeed.
416 for 6. And I suspect Bob Alan Border can hardly believe his good fortune.
Yes, Richie, the whole complex of the game has changed in 2 deliveries.
Welcome to Test cricket.
Arnie Sidebottom be relieved to get off the mark. Rising delivery, and he played it quite well in the end, having just been in for 2 or 3 balls.
McDermott to Downton. Oh, what a great catch. He's improved his fielding tremendously, young Greg Ritchie. And what a turnabout this is. Ritchie has gone away to his left there and taken a startling catch. Paul Downton has gone. First bowler for Paul Downton, and it's 419 for 7.
End of an over, so this is Sidebottom to face. Not short and hooked round the corner, and he's gone as well. So everything going Australia's way at the moment. O'Donnell takes that good catch, struck very fiercely and right off the meat of the bat, found the man at deep square leg. Lawson takes another wicket, and England are 419 for 8. So England have lost 4 wickets in 11 balls for just 2 runs, plus a leg bye. 4 gone down for 3 in all. So John Embry to face now for the first time. And Ollie just dropped the bat on that. John Emburey famed for the fact he's got no backlift whatsoever. And fascinating to see that little piece of time in there. I suppose if anybody's got a short backlift in the game of cricket, it has to be John Emburey. 4.23 for 8. So Emburey's got that 4. His partner Edmonds yet to score. A chance here for Bob Holland to get his name on the score sheet. 2 wickets to fall. One out of the book there. And Philip Edmonds enjoyed that one. It's gone him round his legs. Yes, well bowled. The spinner struck at last. And a lesson there to the leg spinner Edmonds. To be deceived by one of similar sorts. So he's bowled for 12 and it's 443 for 9. And wicket to Bob Holland. Edmonds goes clean bowled round his legs. Good piece of bowling. Paul Allott is England's number 11 today. Coming in to join Emburey with a score on 4.43 for 9. Oh, runs there. Struck quite firmly through mid-on. So Paul Allott gets away with 3 runs. That's a good-looking stroke. And fine stroke indeed from John Emburey. Onto that short pitch delivery very quickly. Hammered it through mid-wicket, and it brings 450 on the board for England. Oh, a chance now for Geoff Lawson to pick up his 5th wicket of the innings, and if he does it, it'll be only the second bowler to take 5 wickets in an innings on this ground this year. Neil Foster took 5 for 80 for Essex against Notts, but no other bowler has taken 5 wickets in first-class cricket at Trent Bridge this year. Shows that the wicket has been a fairly easy, placid one in matches other than this Test match. Has it carried? Yes, it has. So Lawson deservedly ticks his 5th wicket of the innings. Allott goes, caught nicely by Border there at slip. It's 4.56 all out. And Geoff Lawson has taken 5 wickets in an innings for the 10th time. 6th against England. And it's been very hard toil for the bowlers out there. And Lawson has come out with an awful lot of credit.
Well, would you believe it? 456, the last 8 wickets falling for precisely 100 runs. A tremendous performance from the Australians. They took their 4 wickets for 3 in just 11 balls. And that partnership between Lamb and Botham, a half-century stand, looked at one stage as though it was going to tear apart the Australian bowling. And then came the collapse. Tremendous effort from Alan Border and the 4 bowlers he had at his disposal. Lawson outstanding, the 10th time he's taken 5 wickets in an innings. McDermott came back, so too O'Donnell and Holland, and it was a very fine performance indeed. Well, at the start of the Australian innings, Wood and Hilditch were the openers, and Botham bowled 1 over coming in from the Radcliffe Road end. He didn't like coming up against the breeze, even though he'd chosen the end, and it came to Arnie Sidebottom to bowl the 2nd over, and he's coming in now to bowl to Andrew Hilditch. It's Sidebottom's first ball in Test match cricket.
Well, that wasn't quite the start he would have dreamed about last night. Just as he was dropping off, he'd have had the thought of ripping Hildich's middle stump out of the ground and cartwheeling it back towards Downton. But when the palms get sweaty, the nerves take over early on. You can bet your life Graham Wood is suffering a short, sharp attack of nerves. He's been right out of touch with the bat. Needs a good, solid batting performance. I should say that's flicked his pad on the way through. But that'll be a great boost for Arnie Sidebottom and his confidence.
I expect, looking from the dressing room, Ian saw the flags fluttering from left to right, looking out from the pavilion, and thought that would assist his outswinger, but he's got out there and he's found he's running into quite a breeze, and it looks as though he's going to get his way, because Sidebottom's been removed from the attack after just the 1 over, and Paul Allett's coming into action, maybe at this stage just to change Sidebottom and both them round.
A little sporting Dallas. Allett is not even going to bother taking off his sweater at this stage. He may have received the information that it's a oncer. Just out of Tim Robinson's reach.
Would have been a bit of a bonus for Paul Allett if he got a wicket with that delivery, wide half volley, but only just clearing Tim Robinson's leap. So it's all change out there as Arnie Sidebottom takes over from the Radcliffe Road end.
The no ball. So Sidebottom has his problems. Now he's been shifted from the pavilion end to the Radcliffe Road end.
Yeah, Arnie Sidebottom's another regular offender in the no ball department.
Well, it's posing him plenty of problems. He's not quite sure where to put his feet. He's nervous. And he hasn't got his line right either. It's been taken away from the end where he probably wanted to bowl. Botham is going to come now from the pavilion end. I suppose if the scenario were to work, he'd bounce one of the batsmen and get them out, and then he'd be able to wave his hands to David Gower and say, well, I told you so.
And I'm sure he won't be slow in doing so, should that happen, Richie.
It's a good-looking stroke. Quickly into position, Hilditch for the short ball. Hooked it away well and powerfully down the long leg. It's well run.
And Ian Botham continuing with the round the wicket ploy to left-handed Wood. Probably thinks he's got more chance if he bowls a shortish delivery of persuading him to play that indelicate hook shot.
That's a short one, and there's the hook, and there's 4 runs. So the 50 comes up for Australia. 52 for naught, with Wood finally slipping into double figures. The first Side bottom both of them, and a single over from Allott. And now it's Phil Edmonds coming on. Some pressure being put on these Australians now. Big score, 456 England, plenty of runs to play with. Slip, gully, silly point, short leg, looks like a sticky out there. That's a beautiful stroke. Lovely controlled cut. To chase for Embry, but it's a waste of time in running down there. Exquisitely played.
Yes, a shot we don't see played very often these days, but beautifully chopped down there.
Allott again to Wood.
Another excellent delivery from Paul Allott. He's pitching it just about at the right place. And that just moved away off the pitch. Very good delivery indeed.
Before runs.
So again, from this pavilion end, it's Allott to Hilditch. Confident shout, and he's given him out. David Constant had a good long look, and once again, Hilditch looked slightly disappointed, but it was well pitched up. It looked perfectly straight, and the first wicket goes down with the total on 87.
And Andrew Hilditch looking a little bit disappointed, but really only went halfway forward. Only about a foot in front of the popping crease, and that was hitting the middle.
He's got along with that, Tom. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Full length. He hardly pushed forward at all, and I think that would comfortably have taken round about leg middle stump. Useful runs, though, from Andrew Hilditch. The wicket, of course, falling on 87, a number usually feared by all Australians.
And particularly this Australian who was around on the playing fields when that superstition first started. Well, it all happened today, and the card at the end of the day showed that Alan Border had to send in a night watchman, Bob Holland, who hit one boundary, and the total had moved along to 94 for 1, 7 runs on from when Hilditch was out. Wood remained unbeaten, and for England, the wicket-taker Allott, who bowled very well, coming in from the pavilion end. The spinners are getting plenty of work out of the rough there, and Australia 362 runs behind. Just 2 runs added to the overnight total. It's the second ball of the third over. Arnie Sidebottom, playing in his first test match, is bowling to Graham Wood. Very close.
Arnie Sidebottom. Good shout that. Knee just getting outside off stump, but only just. It's a very worthwhile shout, and Sidebottom much happier bowling at the pavilion end this morning. Good action when he gets to the wicket, and a meaningful and purposeful follow-through at the end of his run.
Got that away nicely. No hurry about that stroke, just waited for it, timed it perfectly. Ian Botham now, and Graham Wood is taking strike. It's a good shot from Graham Wood. No ball call from umpire Alan Whitehead, but I don't think it made much difference to Wood's decision. A half century to Graham Wood, and that's a very welcome fight back. 340 behind Australia. Here's Sidebottom.
Bob Holland's problem in trying to play these aggressive shots is that he's stuck on the back foot, and it's just a swing of the bat, and his leading leg goes off in the direction of square leg, so his chances of making contact with the ball are rather remote.
It's a chance down. He's gone for 4. Both of them was the one who got his hand to it. And he looked to me to go very, very late for it. May not have picked it up in the background.
It looked to go down all the way off the bat. Not much carry, but just a fingernail on it, and down she goes.
And side bottom didn't see that for the moment it left the bat. Lost it in the background, which is very easy to do. The ball merging, the red ball merging with the shirts. Perhaps a bit of brickwork above the level of the stands. There's a good shot, even though it was a no ball.
And here again, the ball going past the outside edge. Sidebottom won't have a better chance of opening his test wicket tally with number 11 in at the start of play, but not getting an edge that time.
And that was fairly adjacent. In fact, up goes the finger, and he's gone this time. So no problem at all, Bob, taking wickets at Trent Bridge. 128 for 2, and Bob Holland is away, and Arnie Sidebottom has got his first Test match wicket.
Holland in a tangle again. He's been completely riveted on that back foot all morning, and he tries a fairly horrendous pull shot to a ball which isn't very short and trapped right in front.
He's done a pretty good job. His job was to stay there last night. He's extended it in to 40 minutes this morning, and paves way now for the regular number 3 captain. Phil Edmonds going to turn his arm over from up at the Radcliffe Road end. And thank you very much. With a man bat, that would have been no runs at all, but that silly point there, as soon as it's past him, it races out for 4. Swung that away from around about off the middle, I would think, but very firmly in the meat of the bat for 4 runs. .150 on the board.
And still Philip Edmonds, these 4 men round the bat.
It's a sensible shot. Not too sure about the field placing. I think there's more sense in the stroke than the field placing. Not quite happy about having a fella bowl with all those men with no covering behind. Looking for 2. Lamb has fielded brilliantly this morning.
Another superb piece of fielding by Alan Lamb. Captain Vessels tucks this away from the leg stump. One-handed pick up and a beautiful throw again. That's a very good spell by Arnie Sidebottom. Had a hard day up to now. bowled from the pavilion end since the start of play. And he's just coming to have a refresher.
The man taking the drink out to side bottom was Paul Parker. Paul Elder's off indisposed, and the man in the helmet at short leg is Basharat Hassan, who is a short fielding specialist. Both of them suddenly realised there was no one else around. Good cricket. He really chased after that once he was reminded there was no point, and threw it to the right end as well. So the 50 partnership has come up for Australia, 2 for 180. John Embury to Wood. Not far away from Botham's left hand. Still going to be 4 runs. With Botham was anticipating beautifully there. Looking for the little late cut.
But just 3 more runs added to take the score for the Australians up to 187 for 2 at lunch. Graham Wood, a fine performance there, 89 not out, and Kepler Wessels on 26. Graham Wood scored all 9 runs after the interval, up to the point we joined play. He's on 98 now, and he's facing John Embury.
Yeah, they're certainly looking to run the first one quickly and come back for the second. He's racing back the second, and he's safely in. And 3 figures go on the board then for Graham Wood. And that will be a relief for him and a relief for Australia. He's found his touch, and he's found it at exactly the right time for his side. 100, a good 102 made out of 198 for 2. Edmund's still going to carry on with the 4 close catches. Wicketkeeper and 3 more around the bat. It's a nice flowing off drive. So 200 up there. And one query is the wisdom of keeping all the time this silly mid off there. Certainly means there's 4 runs, anything goes past him. Embury to Wessels. A big shout, and slowly up goes the dreaded finger, and Embury has taken the wicket of Kepler Wessels. 205 for 3 now, a little outside nick, a catch behind, and finally the breakthrough.
Lovely piece of bowling from John Embury. See, he gets his arm nice and high, little bit of turn, and just taking the outside edge, and Downton making no mistake.
Another over from John Embury, border facing. No doubts there about his intentions. It's a glorious straight 6. Oh, quite remarkable. Border's only got 3 to his name. Straight down the wicket to Embury and pops him into the pavilion.
The confidence of the man is astounding. Just been in a few minutes, down the wicket to the off spinner who's just taken a wicket, and straight into the pavilion.
Down the wicket again. He swung that on the leg side. Saved, comfortable 4 runs.
Alan Border wrecking David Gower's plans of a quiet afternoon, pinning down the Australian batsman.
Edmonds again to Border. And they're shouting, and he's gone. And he doesn't want to go. He stood there shaking his head, is Alan Border. He looks disgusted, but no doubt in the umpire's mind that ball went off some part of the bat or glove through to Ian Botham at slip. and Edmonds takes the wicket. It's 234 for 4. Disappointment for Alan Border and his team when he falls for 23.
This might prove a very important breakthrough for England, the batsman they fear most. Ball going between bat and pad to Ian Botham at slip. There's one gentleman who certainly didn't think he got an edge to it, but the England fieldsman did, and umpire Alan Whitehead was in agreement.
There's only one person in the best position to judge it. But, I don't know, he could have been a bit unlucky.
Phil Edmonds bowling and David Burns taking strike. It's a nice stroke from David Byrne off his toes. The outfield very quick out there. John Embury has no chance of cutting that off. And here's Embury. It's a good shot for 4. He's been severe on that today. The one's a little bit short outside off stump. He's played it very well. 3,000 test match runs for Graham Wood now. He's gone on to 120.
Excellent shot this by Graham Wood. It also saves the follow-on. There's absolutely no room at all for a short delivery.
Cotton bowled, well bowled by John Embury. A little bit more air, and that man brought in at short mid-on, might have had a hand in that. Boone tried to hit that wide of the bowler, but it was definitely a slower ball.
Fine piece of bowling, a little bit of flight. David Boone not quite to the pitch of it, and John Embury taking a comfortable return catch there. Fine piece of bowling.
This is Greg Ritchie then to face his first ball. And very nearly a caught and bowl there too. Despairing dive by Embury, only inches away from picking up 2 caught and bowls on the trot.
Pushing through it and in fact, he nearly got to it. I suppose, strictly speaking, that's got to go down as a chance.
You take your life in your hands a little when you play as free as this against a turning ball, but he made sure there it was a full half volley, killed the spin and drove it through the covers for 4.
Well, an example of a perfect off drive, this. Foot right to the pitch of the ball. Beautiful stroke.
A great shot there of Gower.
Well, it's always handy if you can do a pas de trois if you have to field that close in, I suppose. And there were 14 more runs added to take the score up to 289 for 5 at tea. Graham Wood, 125 not out, just 1 short of his best ever in Test match cricket, and Greg Ritchie on 21. A fine performance, and the English bowlers suffered out there on this very good batting pitch. Allett is off the field ill, and there'll be a tremendous responsibility on Botham and Sidebottom now, because the new ball is to be taken immediately after tea. Here it is now. And Ian Botham is the bowler. He's coming in from the Radcliffe Road end. Graham Wood is taking straight.
And a chance straight away. A drop catch from the first ball. Graham Wood, the top edge, gatting the fielder. Well, it just hit the ground before it reached his hand. But I would say that instead of going sideways, he should have been going forward as well. Sidebottom is going to bowl from the end where he's bowled best. He wasn't at his best yesterday from the Radcliffe Road end. Now he has the chance to come in to bowl to Greg Ritchie. but that was perfectly played by Greg Ritchie. Good shot again. That was a high bouncer. Sidebottom's in trouble. Well, David Gower will need to be saying to him, okay, we've got a little bit of a problem, but that problem's magnified by the fact that Allett's not on the field. Get your boot back on, Arnie, and let's get cracking. This is how it happened. Sidebottom thumping down his front foot, just twisting, and it was at that point that he started to move in very gingerly fashion. Well, he's coming off the field. 2.99 for 5. So now England in trouble. Australia went into this test match with just 4 bowlers. They got through with one not bowling very well, but without injury, and now one England bowler is ill and the other one is injured, Allett and Sidebottom. What better time for the great all-rounder to produce a spirited challenge? He's at his best in these situations. Allett is off the field. Sidebottom is off the field. Both of them as the last of the pace bowlers. The second new ball just taken. And a batsman in who's 126 not out. Quite often he's pulled something out of the hat in just these circumstances. And that single to Graham Wood gives him his highest score in Test match cricket, beating his previous best, 126 against West Indies at Georgetown, Guyana. And it also brings up the Australian 300. And that is not too far away, I should think.
Ian Botham absolutely flabbergasted with the finger not going up here.
Edmonds, a good catch, and it's a no ball. And that is unlikely to please Botham any further. A marvellous catch by Philip Edmonds. At which point in querying the no ball, your foot is either on the line or behind it. 50 partnership up in 113 deliveries.
And Ian Botham throwing in another bouncer. Ritchie getting a big top edge and a magnificent catch taken by Edmonds. Absolutely splendid catch, but the umpire adjudging a no ball.
No ball again. And a warning for Ian Botham, running down the line of the stumps. One warning, the signal to David Gower and also to David Constant. And now umpire Whitehead has a problem. Does he speak to him about too many bounces? Yes, indeed he does. And if they spoke to Lawson about it the other day, then it's quite right to do it to both of them there for the same number of bounces in the same number of balls.
Bit of a personality clash going on between Botham and umpire Whitehead out there.
Guy has to get his mind attuned to the job. Botham will have the crowd behind him, surging him on. Graham Wood playing with tremendous common sense out there. It's 133, Ritchie is 41, 318 for 5.
Cooch again to Ritchie. Picked his spot quite nicely again through mid-wicket for 4. Cooch over pitching round about Ritchie's leg stump. Put away in fine style. Philip Edmonds coming back into the attack for a spell this time from the pavilion end. Slip, a short leg. And Ritchie on 49. It's a single pushed down the leg side by Greg Ritchie. 1 run sufficient to take him through to a 50. He's had to battle pretty hard for it, but he was quite relieved when the new ball appeared. But a little more confident then, and has taken part in a very handy partnership here. 117 balls, 6 fours. In that 54, Greg Ritchie. Now Embry finally going to have a spell at the Radcliffe Road end. Oh, that's a great shot. Made up his mind quickly to get down the wicket. Fairly hammered it through the offside. Ritchie going on now to 54.
Phil Edmonds has switched ends now, coming in from the Radcliffe Road end. That's a fine shot. Late in the day. Edmonds hasn't erred at all on the short side today. Occasionally he's been over pitching, but that's not all that much of a fault. Now Graham Wood has reached 150. He's gone on to 152.
Another single added, and at the close of play, Australia 366 for 5. That was a great performance. They made 272 today for the loss of 4 wickets. Wood 152 not out, and Ritchie played a very good innings for 65 not out. And the bowlers, well, they suffered out there, but they stuck to their task well in the face of being too short. Allett away through illness and Sidebottom through injury. The bowling figures at the close of play reflected that. Embury and Edmonds, 3 wickets between them, but there's still not a great deal in this pitch for the bowlers of either side. Both of them wicketless, but played a prominent part in proceedings. We pick up play now with the second close of play on this, the 3rd day. 366 for 5. The Australians are 90 runs and 66. We pick up play now with the second ball of the second over. No runs have been added. Phil Edmonds is the bowler, and he's bowling to the right-hander, Greg Ritchie.
Well, that's a very positive early blow there from Greg Ritchie. Super shot down the wicket. And very safely indeed over mid-off for 4. It's a good shot. second 4 to Greg Ritchie this morning. They're quick onto anything that's short. It's one area which you can't afford to bowl on this pitch. Anything short of a length will get unmercifully punished. Embry round the wicket now to Wood. He too swaying onto the back foot, playing the identical shot that Ritchie picked 4 up off in the last over. So the screen's going over at the far end. It's a change of method from Edmonds, going to come over the wicket now to the right-hander. Nearly fell into an indiscretion there. That was quite wide. He tried to move his feet to get outside it. I think originally to hit him over the leg side, and lobbed it in the air, but clear. Embry then to Ritchie. Well, it's placed nicely. 3 men away on that leg side boundary, but dropped right between them all. Sure to sound lurking there at short leg, absolutely dying to pick up a catch. His name on the card. Substituting four-side bottom. The outside edge. Never have carried.
Well, David Gower's had no success in the first 40 minutes or so of play, and has now decided to bring Paul Allott into the attack. And I think this is a good move by Gower to have a seamer bowling, perhaps at one end, and a spinner at the other.
.400 up for Australia. They're 56 behind England. Safely away over mid-wicket. So Ritchie has progressed now to 95. Hasn't been afraid at all this morning to get down the track. That's another good delivery from Allott. Bowled very well in this spell.
Really fine delivery this. Moving across Graham Wood, pushing through to the onside, and when catchable height at about 4th, 5th slip.
That's a good shot. Embry is the fielder. And that's dangerous.
Greg Ritchie picking this up off the stumps, but beautifully timed. Fine stroke maker. Tremendous exhibition there by John Embry, but was it worth it?
Well, Greg Ritchie's on 99. There is to be a change in the bowling, but it's not the one I thought might happen. It's not both of them, but it's Embry being switched to the Radcliffe Road end. And is coming in to save the single from long on. It gives Ritchie the chance to hit down the ground if he wants, or he can still push the single out to mid-on. And there it is. A Test match century against England for Greg Ritchie. Great performance. Magnificent partnership between these two.
We're out and cheer because IT Botham is finally coming into the action. And it would require every ounce of Botham's great strength to get some response from this pitch. We shall see now. He comes into wood on 172. And the first one halfway down. And he's gone this time, the lock hop, the short one, and Wood has gone, caught by Robinson very comfortably there at mid-wicket. So this long stand finally broken at 424. Graham Wood goes for 172. And what an incredible fellow this Ian Botham is.
No question about that, Jim. The man with the golden eye. It was almost as though Graham Wood was waiting for those first two deliveries. He knew they were going to be halfway down the wicket. And a very gentle catch to mid-wicket. But what a fine innings this man's played. Tremendous concentration and application. And a superb knock that he'll remember for the rest of his life, I'm sure. A great performance by Graham Wood.
161, that partnership was. Botham then to Ritchie. Oh, that's a beautiful stroke. Perfect piece of time in there by Ritchie. All ease and grace. Over pitch ball on the leg stump and just flicked casually away through mid-wicket for 4. So it's Ritchie on 106. It's Embry again to bowl, and must be flashing the whole time through John Embry's mind that he could well have had him out the very first ball for naught. Still 3 men out on the leg side boundary. And he needs one out on the offside boundary now because that was an extraordinary good shot. Here's Greg Ritchie, his best score in a test match, going past the 106 he made in Faisalabad. Wayne Phillips has got a couple to his name now, 437 for 6. 60 overs gone with this ball, and Embry still from the Radcliffe Road end. And he's bowling. Well, he really got in a tangle there. Quite an extraordinary dismissal. Wayne Phillips very comprehensively bowled there by John Embry. He really got the pickle here. Perfectly straight ball. Left the leg stump open, and over she went.
Over she went indeed, and we heard later that the lack of elegance there in Wayne Phillips' stroke was due partly to the fact that he got his spikes jammed in the pitch and then did in fact topple over. 440 for 7 with 3 more added up to the luncheon interval. 172 to Wood and 113 not out to Ritchie. A very fine performance from a very talented young player. We pick up play now in the second over after lunch. No runs have been added, and Ian Botham is coming into bowl to Simon O'Donnell.
2 men out there, and neither can get anywhere near that. That's a good shot from Simon O'Donnell. Allett the fielder, and 2 more to Ritchie. 450 up, 450 for 7. That one's very much the edge.
Botham using a lot of variation at the moment. Not much foot movement from Greg Ritchie, but racing away to the boundary to bring the scores level.
A lot of Australian fans here for this match and for the other games as well. Bundeerum, 5 months away from home. Carolyn and Paul, well, they're all back there in Bundaberg watching the telecast, which are going to Australia by courtesy of BBC cameras.
Edmonds again then for his 56th over. There's 4 more there for Greg Ritchie. Quite content to wait for anything offline and from short or over pitched. And he's put the bad ball away in great style. Still with the 2 close catches. And there's the easy single. Alan Lamb, the fielder down at Long On. He's kept up, I must say, the very high standard of English fielding. Really has been the star in the outfield. A lot of good chases, some fine pickups, some excellent throws. And it's dropped it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, poor old Basharat has had a very definite chance there. That would have made his day, it would have made his year, but it was not to be.
I think the thing is that he's so close there. It goes off quite quickly through his hands, hits him in the stomach. He just can't quite scoop it up. And the England captain having a little experiment here. He's going to put Mike Gatting on.
Don't see Mike Gatting bowl very often. Test matches. Now, over the years, he's picked up a lot of very useful wickets for Middlesex. So he's got a slip to Greg Ritchie. Comes in with Ritchie on 142. Two runs there to Ritchie. Puts up a 50 partnership between these two. So the 8th wicket, 151, with power to add. Garland continues to keep faith with Edmonds from the Radcliffe Road end. Not the most convincing drive we've seen today. Bit of spin, sliding that away through mid-off. Edmonds again against Ritchie. And he's finally got him. He's finally got him. Well, nobody could have deserved that wicket more than Phil Edmonds. He's plugged and plugged away, and Ritchie's finally gone for 146. Clean bowled, and it's 491 for 8. But marvellous innings that by Greg Ritchie. Made a name for himself on this trip. Good 90 at Lords. He's surpassed it today. 146. 16 fours. And he's been in there for the best part of 6 hours.
Yes, a tremendous innings. Being applauded off by the England players. Played some lovely strokes. And he is a very, very good shot maker indeed. The only question mark that has ever hung over him, I think, has been his concentration. And he's certainly proved that he can do a proper job here. Played really well at Lords, and here we can see Phil Edmonds coming over the wicket. Greg Ritchie trying to make a bit of room for himself to hit him over extra cover. Just clips the outside of the off stump. And a welcome wicket for Phil Edmonds. Lovely footwork, Greg Ritchie. He didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball because he was making himself room. But he's a very, very good stroke player. And end of the over. Jeff Lawson's come into bat. And 1 over from Mike Gatting. He's being replaced by his Middlesex colleague, John Embry.
And perhaps the spin bowlers now will get just reward for a lot of hard work. Edmonds has 2 wickets, Embury 3. It's 491 for 8. O'Donnell 18. That's safe, but he was beaten in the flight. It was very well bowled by Embury. Although Embury may not think so, as it crashed into the advertising boards down below us. But he certainly beat O'Donnell in the flight, stranded him, and the young man, with the confidence of youth, gave it a fearful hammer.
Yes, he just carried on hitting through the line of the ball. Never quite got there and didn't really know where this was going, except fairly straight.
Phil Edmonds wheeling away from the Radcliffe Road end, and he's bowling to Lawson.
And a really fine shot by Geoff Lawson.
.52 runs ahead, Australia, and there's a day and 1 session to go. Embury now. Forward to Geoffrey Lawson.
Beautiful shot by Geoff Lawson. He does the basic things correctly. Very good forward defensive shot, and that's a wide half volley, which he puts his foot to and crashes it through square on the offside.
512 for 8. That's the highest score ever by Australia on this ground. The history of Anglo-Australian cricket. Previous best 509 in 1948. Botham's taken off his big sweater, and he's taken the new ball straight away. The batsmen are going for the helmets. Almost a good Yorker. And Lawson just got down on it in time. So the new ball is just about to become the old ball. They're going to have to get a box of balls out. But Geoff Lawson just kept that Yorker out. So this is what happened. Lawson kept the Yorker out. Bertham got his spikes across the top of it, and now the umpire, the reserve umpire, has brought out the box of balls for umpires Constant and Whitehead. Botham to Lawson.
The head goes in the air. Oh, why haven't I got a short leg? And bowling at number 10. It's a good question.
Botham 1 for 100, Sidebottom 1 for 65. Allett 1 for 37. Is just about to bowl from the Radcliffe Road end. He really moved the ball around off the seam this morning in the short spell he had. It's a bit much to expect him to bowl too long a spell. Came back onto the field today after a gastric attack had kept him off the field on Saturday. Here he is now bowling to Lawson. Alan Lamb's fielded brilliantly in this match. Very good shot from Geoff Lawson, batting at number 10 for Australia, but it's done some damage to David Gower, I fear. Looks as though it's ripped the top of his nail off, I'm afraid. And he's saying, I'll just stick around till tea time because there's only this over to go. But that was hit with great power.
So he's been hanging around now for 2 hours, 10 minutes. 2 slips in for Botham. It's hammered away, short to mid-wicket, 4 runs. And it seems all the Australians ever on the lookout now for the shorter ball from Botham. Roll of the wrist, kept it down, played it quite beautifully through mid-wicket.
This is a chance. Lawson hitting it into the cover area. I think Tim Robinson didn't think he was quite going to get there. He only got the left hand to the ball in the end and slapped into the palm and out again.
Well, it's not been easy for David Gower out there. There is when one gets a plumb wicket like this, and a good bat inside. But he switched his bowlers around. I think he's handled it pretty well throughout a long session in the field. Out again to O'Donnell. Placed that quite safely. Sprays away into that, down to that new stand over there, and it's 4 more. So O'Donnell again has kept the ball in. He faces Botham. But short, hooked, Downton's after it, should take it. Made no mistake. So Botham finally gets rid of O'Donnell. 46 he made. And how many batsmen fall for this short rising delivery? .539 for 9.
And the pull's been a productive shot for Simon O'Donnell, but this time he gets the top edge to it, and Paul Downton has a long time to think about that one coming down, but takes it safely.
Yes, 48 partnership. And 39 for 9 as McDermott comes in.
There's a lot of derisory comment about the Botham bouncer. Some say, why does he bowl all those long hops? But that was a good bouncer. And another wicket to the Botham tally. And he gets ever closer to that Dennis Lillee record.
So the batsman having crossed, it'll be Geoff Lawson to face Ian Botham. And he's done it. So Ian Botham finally polishes them off. 3 wickets in all, and it's 539 all out.
Australia were 526 for 8 at tea, and they went on to be all out shortly after tea for 539. A great innings by Greg Ritchie, 146, 172 to Wood, and 46 to Simon O'Donnell, who missed a half-century again today, but he is playing very well at the moment for Australia
batting down the order and with his medium pace bowling. Lawson 18, valuable runs there from the tail, and the wickets, Ian Botham 3 for 107. He fought back well and he bowled tidily all the way through. Embury and Edmonds I thought were outstanding. The pitch is very flat, good batting surface, and I thought they bowled really well to take 2 and 3 wickets respectively. So England came out to bat with Gooch and Robinson, and when bad lights stopped play at 5 to 5, they'd made 5 runs behind. One ball to complete his over, and then we pick up play with the first ball of the second over of the day. Craig McDermott is the bowler, and he's bowling to Tim Robinson.
And the first run of the morning, Simon O'Donnell, the misfielder. And immediately, umpire Whitehead is having a look down there at Craig McDermott's footmarks. Won't be difficult at this stage of the day to see who made the marks. Now, I think umpire Whitehead has got to have a word with McDermott about that, because by my reckoning, he was down round about the line of middle and leg.
Dermott's problem is that his natural action takes him onto the wicket. That first step's probably within the 4 feet margin, but the second one is certainly in the danger area.
They get 3 for that. The outfield's a little slow. The overnight rain.
Lawson again to Gooch. Plenty of pace there from Geoff Lawson, but direction certainly at fault.
A lot of Lawson deliveries have been a little bit too wide of the off stump, and both Robinson and Gooch have been able to let deliveries go harmlessly by to the keeper. He's running in very well and generating a fair amount of speed. His direction is not just quite right at the moment.
That's well built too. Useful over, pace and a bit of movement for Lawson, but by and large you couldn't exactly drop it where he wanted.
This one comes back through the gate. Graham Gooch has got his front pad covering the stumps, and it's just as well that he did.
Five overs, 5 good overs too from Lawson for just 8 runs. 23 up on the board. And fairly early appearance of the leg spinner. Bob Holland coming on to replace McDermott. 4 quite unhappy overs, in fact, for Craig McDermott here. Only cost him 13 runs, but it's not really worked out for him. He's had problems with his run, with his follow-through, and certainly hasn't looked the menace that we saw in the earlier tests. That's 4 runs. And Bob Holland finding out the same truths about this wicket that befell Embury and Edmonds yesterday. Can't really afford to drop anything short of a length here.
As Greg Ritchie did. As soon as it's short, Graham Gooch is onto the back foot, gives himself plenty of room and smashes it away through the offside.
helped on its way. McDermott down there, and very wet and greasy, that outfield. Consequently, Gooch will get 4 runs for it. Not hit with a lot of power. It was really helped on its way. It was going in that direction anyway. And the outfield still is desperately wet. Difficult to chase around there and keep your foothold.
Not too many people here today, but I suppose in the situation of the match, it looked odds on a draw. And apart from watching the technical abilities of the players, there's not much chance of a result. Beautiful straight drive that by Graham Gooch. Didn't really hit it at all. Beautifully timed. Bringing the 50 up in 106 balls. And still Geoff Lawson to continue from the City end. But in fact, in this innings, he's only bowled 14 balls at Robinson. So it's a new experience for him. Big shout, but David Constant having no doubt. No response from David Constant.
I'm not surprised there was a concerted appeal. It looked as though it might have been a little high or might have been missing leg stump. And the law says very clearly that the umpire must be certain the batsman is out.
Well bowled again. Had an excellent over there from Geoff Lawson. There's no doubt about him trying. Bowled an extremely good spell. Bob Holland to continue from the pavilion end. Still round the wicket. A magnificent square cut there. A long hop. And really dispatched very positively.
One thing you do have to make sure of if you're bowling around the wicket with this style of bowling, right arm over the wrist, is that you don't bowl short.
No danger there, pitched well outside the leg stump. A couple of words from Bob Willis, and we'll hand over to Jim Laker.
Bob Holland persisting with the round the wicket attack, but to the right-handed batsman there are 2 drawbacks. They can safely pad away the ball that pitches in the rough, and there is no chance of an LBW decision. That was a good ball, went through much quicker, but although Gooch played a shot, the ball pitching well outside the line of the leg stump. And under the current leg before wicket law, there is no chance that that can be out.
Thank you, Bob. Lawson continuing then to have pretty good work out here. That's a good stroke. Slow outfield or not, that'll race away for 4. That's as good a shot as we've seen.
This is why bowling's been such a thankless task on this wicket. You get your length wrong by a matter of inches, and away she goes. A beautiful cover drive from Graham Gooch. So skipper Alan Border has got frustrated with the batsman playing his leg spinner with their pads, and he's quite rightly giving Craig McDermott another opportunity to sort out his run-up and follow-through problems.
Again, picked his spot nicely, wide of mid-on for a couple of runs. So the gully's come over for Graham Gooch, close in at mid-wicket. That's out. So the first wicket goes down, Graham Gooch, falling for the short pitch delivery. And it paid off for Australia to have that money in that short mid-wicket position. Very simple dolly catch. Graham Gooch will be disappointed. This was a great opportunity for him, really, to go on to his first 100 against Australia.
It's quite remarkable the number of wickets on this Trent Bridge pitch that have fallen to the attempted bouncer, and Graham Gooch getting right underneath that one as if giving catching practice, and quite a good catch as he has to back pedal there.
So the opening stand was worth 79. Well, Gooch went just too short of his 50.
Dermott banging it in his half of the wicket. It's a bit close to Gooch for that shot, and Greg Ritchie moving backwards, taking the catch. So the wicket of Graham Gooch should have brightened up Craig McDermott. See if he comes in with a little bit more purpose now.
It's a nice full toss. Just the 3 runs this time. Well, those 3 runs take Tim Robinson on to 29, and also takes him past 1,000 runs for the season. And of course, as in the first-class game, not taken into account runs scored in limited over competitions. Also brings the scores dead level. It's a relief. Scores his first run. Just stroked away to a very square third man.
Craig McDermott's reverted to his run-up of the first innings, coming in at quite an angle to the stumps. And he's in trouble again. The umpire patching up those worn marks. McDermott seems completely unable to get off the wicket.
And once again, the long hop creeping in from Bob Holland, and David Gower having all the time in the world to pull that through mid-wicket. Lovely timing. The 2 runs comfortably to bring the 100 up. England reaching 100 for the loss of only 1 wicket. 100 in 221 balls. David Gower He played so magnificently in the first innings. I think it's pretty nearly the best innings I've ever seen him play. Superb stroke making. Almost 5,000 runs at a very good average.
And there's a big appeal, and Gower has gone.
And a flashing drive was supposed to be produced there, but David Gower getting a little bottom edge, I think. A little bit of a disappointing end for David Gower. But there you can see how far away from the ball his front foot was. McDermott takes his second wicket of the innings. McDermott to Robinson. Whoa! High full toss. My goodness, I should think that hurt. Hit him full toss on the right hand. And you just watch where that ball hits him. Full toss on the hand.
And that would be very, very painful, I should think.
Very painful indeed, and Robinson would have been quite happy that T came after just 4 more runs had been added to take the total up to 112 for 2. It was a good performance from him, nothing really hanging to the match, but he played some lovely strokes, and so too did Gooch, until McDermott got him with the one that just climbed a little more steeply than he expected. Just 1 run added after T now, as we pick up play. It's the second over. McDermott is the bowler, and he's coming in to bowl to Gatting.
There was a shot that Mike Gatting want to forget. A little bit close to try and play a little cut shot down the third man.
One of the problems the batsmen face as this test match waits at the cemetery gates is concentration. Mike Gatting will be kicking himself for that, and he'll be looking to get behind the next one.
Behind that, all right. Nice full toss. Put away in great style through mid-wicket for 4. That's a good stroke. That's 4 runs. Outfield seems a little quicker on that side. Gatting to face now. Got across well there. Feet very quickly into position. That was a really fine shot from Mike Gatting. So Sam O'Donnell getting his first spell of this second innings. Comes in then to Robinson. It's a good shot there by Robinson. And an odd but quite interesting statistic there, because those 2 runs have taken Robinson on to 45, and that indeed is the highest score ever made by a Notts batsman against Australia on this ground. Alan Lamb doing next. You won't be very keen about coming out to bat in this sort of situation. You want to hide into nothing. Very nearly out. Only inches away there from O'Donnell following through. Bob Holland switching now, going to come over the wicket. That's a good shot to bring up a 50 for Tim Robinson. Hasn't made a mistake. He's only found the boundary a couple of times. And he's been in for 214 minutes. and received 143 balls. Oh, well bowled. Nice change of pace, good piece of flight there. Mr. Boone having a little exercise. So 150 goes up, 152 for 2. Robinson moving on to 54. Donald to Robinson. That's another good stroke. Each time the bowler's gone onto that leg stump, it's been beautifully timed by Robinson.
Very strong on that leg side, that just drifting in a little in the air. Beautifully clipped away.
So, unless there's something remarkable in the laps of the gods, Simon Donnell will be bowling the last over of this Trent Bridge Test match.
And there's a lovely shot on which to finish this Test match. Tim Robinson, a delightful stroke, and he asked Alan Border if he's had enough. Border says yes.
196 for 2 and a predictable end to the match, but not before Robinson once again stamped his authority on the game with the bats. 77 not out, and I thought he played really well there today, particularly in the sense of keeping his concentration going, getting 35 not out, and just joy in the Australian bowling lineup for one man, Craig McDermott, 16 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 42, and the match itself finished a draw. 1 game each to Australia and England in the earlier fixtures. Here, England 456 and 196 for 2, and Australia 539 all out. So in a sense it was disappointing, but there were some very, very good features from both those players. The man of the match, nominated by Tom Graveney, quite rightly in my opinion, David Gower, for his superb knock in England's innings.
The season. A great occasion.